Good morning. So I want to make one last video of the RV because we are trading it in. You can see from the person backing into me, they fixed it awesome. Replaced the hood, the grill, the bumper. Everything's working great. Looks brand new. But really excited. There's a snag with the title. Washington State messed up the year. They basically had it listed as the same year the chassis is. In an RV, you listed as the model year of the RV. Luckily, they had a photocopy of the California title before it got changed to Washington, showing, you know, the correct. And I had all the paperwork too, but supposedly that would not have been enough. So I'm glad they had a photocopy of the California title. You know, basically they're gonna fix it on Monday. I got all the paperwork, everything printed to fix it, and the lady will print me off a quick title Monday afternoon. So that's awesome. Basically, when it was listed incorrectly as a 2015, we would have got $5 less for it, you know, because it's older. And then the RV center, of course, can't sell it for as much, so we would all lose. And I ended up taking it in to the dealership because I wanted to make sure there were no more problems. And we did have one more thing to negotiate over. So basically, this RV has a foam core floor, which means it's spongy. It was like that when we bought it. In the aisle here, so you step in and spongy, 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 spongy. Basically, as you get back here, it's not as bad. So what happens is a foam core floor has the linoleum on top, then it has thin cheap plywood, then it has foam core with braces, and then plywood underneath, and of course it's all wrapped and waterproofed. What happens is over time the foam compresses, so you get depressions in between the reinforced bars, which they don't put enough in. So we negotiated some money off of our trade-in because I understand, you know, if people do their research, they will see that that's not a problem, but it does eliminate some of their potential buyers because they won't understand that. You know, most people think sponge means water. Well, if you look in the cabinet here, the floor is rock solid hard. If you put the slide out or stand right here, the floor is rock solid hard. So that proves there's no water damage. If there was water damage, it would come from the outside in, because we have a sink here and we have a slide out here. You know, so unfortunately though, if that is the case, it is more work for them. But there's other potential fixes that they can do. If you want to do it the right way, you cut holes in the floor between the braces and you reinforce it, and then you put foam back in, and then you know, put the wood down and you do the linoleum. That's the right way to do it. There's other ways people have done it by like getting a thin floor, putting over top of everything. And then that way it just makes it stronger and you don't feel it. And as long as you have room, you know, for the cupboards, the hard part is if you do it that way, you have to take the slide out to do it that way. So it doesn't bother me whichever way the dealer does it. It's their choice. You know, we gave them a good chunk of money because they're taking, you know, they're taking a risk. It could cost less than we gave them. It could cost more than we gave them. But I think it's fair because I feel like the RV manufacturers are misleading people in the quality of these things. And the dealers, you know, they are selling them at a huge markup knowing that. So, but again, you know, we did use it also. So I was fine with splitting the potential difference, you know, between the worst case and least worst case. I just want that. I don't want this kind of vehicle anymore because one of the main drawbacks is we can't go where we want with it. And having a trailer and a truck, you know, we can unhitch the truck, We could take off and go down any road we want. We don't have to worry about parking. It's just going to be way easy. The other thing is the Mercedes-Benz in Tacoma is so busy. Like if you call them now, I called them to adjust the appointment before I knew I was trading it in, and the lady didn't realize I had an appointment. Their next available, or let me tell you, this is October 2nd. Their next available appointment is the middle of February. I don't want to own a vehicle that's that hard to get an appointment for. I did find a place in McCoy, Oregon. It's a Freightliner that works on Sprinters. There, you only need to call them a week ahead of time. You know, that's a 150-mile drive, but I could live with that if we were to keep it, you know, because I at least found a place. And for the emissions control, they only need a few hours to fix it, whereas in Tacoma, they're saying they need it for 2 days. And that's the other thing I don't like about Tacoma Sprinter, or, you know, Mercedes-Benz. They have no security there, and there's full of homeless people in the area. There's reviews where people's campers are getting broken into in their lot, and they don't care. They just tell you to call your insurance company. You know how hard it is to fix things on an RV, you know, especially if it's been vandalized? Not easy. So that's another reason, like, I'm glad I don't have to deal with, like, iffy or hard to get service that does not have security. And for example, most places have, like the Camping World, they have a 7,000 volt electric fence around their lot where they keep the RVs, you know, plus they have barbed wire. And the McCoy Freightliner by the Portland airport is the same way. They take it seriously, the protection of their customers' vehicles, whereas, you know, Mercedes-Benz Sprinter and Fife does not care. But anyway, back to this. So basically, the floor was really the only thing. Like, I didn't say anything about the floor because we lived with it, and even the salesperson said, you go on a lot of new coaches or trailers, the floor is spongy. And I found out why it is. It's because it saves weight. It makes the trailer or RV lighter. I would never buy one again because I don't want to. I mean, if we were to keep it, fine, it's fine. But when you try and resell it, it makes the resale harder. Because everything I found out, and also if you look here, if I put my finger under here, I can feel a piece of the wood that's exposed on the very edge. And this is the battery box, and it's hard. People just don't, people that have never had an RV just don't. I didn't understand how the floor was constructed. I was just told when we bought it that's the way they make them. I don't like it though, because I don't like the appearance it gives that it could be bad. But as far as I know, I can't find anything online that says the sagging is a bad thing, because you still have the degraded foam that breaks down from compression, but you also have the board underneath that, you know. So I don't think you would ever break through or damage, you know, it's just a spongy feeling, you know, and people can't get over that, unfortunately. Like I told the salesperson, we lived with it for 6 years. Yeah, it maybe got a little worse, but we didn't notice because, you know, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, you don't realize that. But yeah, I got everything out though. So then you can see up top, I took out some of the screws also when we had the leaks from the running lights after we only had it 2 years. And I was trying to figure out where it was coming from. I never put those back in, but they said, don't worry, they'll put them back in. I still have them. But yeah, everything's, you know, dry, no water damage. All the cupboards are empty. We did get rid of this door because see how in the slide outs in, you can't access the bottom cupboards. And that helped a lot because we can actually use this while we're, you know, driving. Like here, see, you can open this. You don't have to worry about the slide out. So this is a bad design, having these doors here. I would have just left it open. I would not put doors on. Well, maybe put doors on the top because it's high up and they could fall out, but I would not put doors on this. These cupboards, empty. That's the microwave plug there. Sink. They don't even care if I clean it, so like, you know, I'm not even cleaning it. I just got everything out of it. We never used the stove once. Like, oh, it's got some dirt in it, but we never ever used it. I should clean that up. That's kind of gross. But under the sink. It's unbelievable how much stuff you have in an RV. It took me 3 to 4 hours to finish unpacking this. But everything is empty. Got some water in here, that's it. No, the bathroom. Zoe's litter box out and the plastic that was underneath it. I should clean that out a little better. And I got the bedding all off. All these cupboards empty. But no, it's I was ready to keep it at one point if we talked the price down. But then I actually realized that even if at that point I was just so upset with all the things we dealt with in La Mesa RV in San Diego, how they, you know, I was ready to basically, if we had to drop the price more, I was ready to just take, we had, you know, the lower offer if it ever came to that, and not get a trailer and just take the cash, and we would be out of the RV industry forever. That's how, you know, you feel really bad when you know, you feel like you're taking advantage of. It's not just us, a lot of people. It's the shoddy construction, you know, that the RV manufacturers are doing. And I don't want to mention the new RV center yet, you know, until everything is done and we have the new trailer. It is a vintage cruiser, and it has Adzell and fiberglass. There's no, it doesn't have this type of floor. So I'm really excited about that. We pay them extra money to prep it and clean it and do the final walk around, make sure everything's working. So everything should be working because we actually paid them for that, you know, service. Whereas La Mesa, you don't pay extra. They say they'll have it ready. They barely give you a walk around. And I've heard stories about a lot of things in places where you don't pay anything, where things are not ready and they're broken when you go camping the first time. But once we're camping and I verify everything works, well, I'll verify it at the place, at the RV center when we pick it up. I will let you know who they are, because they have really good reviews online. And it's not a big company. It's a family-owned company. And they seem genuine. I really hope they're as good as they seem. Because this trailer we're getting, it's our last chance of staying in the RV industry and camping. You know, if we don't have good luck with it in the next 4 to 5 years, we'll go back to tent camping in the truck and staying in hotels. And basically we won't have a pet. And if Zoe's still alive, we will not be able to take vacations together if, you know, if she outlasts the trailer that we're getting, because we have problems. But I think the trailer is going to be awesome. It's similar. It has a lot less wood construction, which makes it more expensive. Adzell is expensive, makes everything. Basically, I found out why Airstreams are so expensive, because they have very little wood, and they actually have a composite floor now that they're coming out with, or maybe they did this year, where there's virtually no wood in the construction of the trailer of an Airstream. The only wood is in whatever cabinets they have on the inside. So yeah, I understand why they use the lightweight material. It isn't to be cheap, like I said, or everyone says. It's to make the trailer or RV lighter. Because if they have a lighter trailer, more people can buy it because more cars can tow it. And like this chassis, you know, they put a lot of stuff in it. If they had a real wood floor, maybe they wouldn't be able to make it as long. Maybe you'd have to chop 2 feet off of it. You know, it really has to do with keeping the vehicle light. I don't think they were intentionally trying to be cheap. You know, when you investigate, it's really about weight, eliminating weight, making foam core floors. But yeah, I'm going to be happy to pick up the new trailer in the middle of October. I wanted to show you the engine one more time. All right, let me stop this. But here's the engine. I mean, I've loved the engine. It's haven't had any trouble with it or the emissions. So basically I told them all about the wheel speed sensor recall. That's done for free. And then the emissions fixes. It's not for performance or anything faulty. It's because of it's polluting more than it's supposed to. And I told them, I said, yeah, the new owner does not have to get that done unless something breaks and they can't get the old parts. Then they have to do the upgrade. And then you, of course, don't get any class action settlement money if you don't get it done. You have a year to get it done at this point if you want to get any money. We could have got like $3 to $4 grand. To me, it's not worth it because you use more DEF is what I've read. So this car gets 1,700 miles a gallon of DEF. This truck gets around 1,000 to 1,200 miles per gallon of DEF. And as far as I can tell, every diesel vehicle should get about the same miles per gallon of DEF. And from what I read, the Sprinter will get around 1,000 to 1,200 miles in DEF once you do the fix. It only has a 3.5 gallon tank, so that kind of sucks because right now the way it is, I can drive 5,000 miles and then I put 3 gallons in. Well, you'll be down to 3,000, 3,500 miles if that's true, which is still fine, but I like being able to drive basically across the country and not have to put DEF in. It's nice. You can see the engine is just in great shape. You know, it's super. I take it to the dealer all the time and they check everything and everything works awesome. But there's some things I'll miss about this, but there's a lot of things I won't. One thing that's different is it is really easy to use the bathroom and get food if you're driving. Like my wife can just get up and Zoe can walk around. In the truck, Zoe will be in the back seat here, you know, and we're gonna get something that she could sit on so she's at window level. And then put a bunch of blankets back there and somehow get seat covers so at least she doesn't ruin the back seats and the backs of the front seats. And then we'll just have to stop, you know, more often so she can take her to the trailer and give her a chance to eat and go to the bathroom. But this rack, so I decided I'm going to leave it. I'm going to give it to them. If they want to take it off and get rid of it, they can. I was worried about the key, but I'm pretty sure I have the key. Well, I know I have the key. It's just I don't have to hunt for it. It's on one of the RV key rings, luckily. But we don't need that in the truck because we put the bikes in the back of the truck, and if we're pulling a trailer we couldn't use it anyway. So but yeah, it's pretty exciting. Motorhomes are a lot of work. There's so many systems and there are so many integrated systems, and like this has 2 slide outs. The trailer has 1 little slide out. They make a model that doesn't have a slide out, but it's a smaller trailer. I can deal with 1 little slide out, but I thought how nice it would be to not have a slide out. It reduces the wear and tear of things and complexity. Oh, like this for example, you can see how I put tape. This is because they put this upside down. This is for the passenger side heater. They should have used a driver's side cover for the heater on this side, because these vents, the way these vents are, when it rains, water goes in there and then it gets wet and it won't start. Once we learned that in Orlando, Florida. Basically though, you cover this up, we never had trouble. Oh, he started right back up. Water heater works right here. And then you can see how on the slide outs they have this trim. So they have this caulking you can't see. It's more like, well, I'm not sure if it's called caulking. Well, it dries out. So at one point I noticed water on the rail of the couch, because this is a box basically that slides out, and the couch, you know, sits against the back. So I figured out water was coming down and coming in here because it had started to separate, or the caulking. So I put this in. This is soft. It's boat seal, I think, and that stopped it. And you know, they noticed it. They thought it was kind of clever, you know, because your whole goal is to try and stop the And this comes off easy. See, you can see I could peel it off. I picked something that was non-destructive because they're gonna probably fix it right, is my guess. And we did the same thing up here when we had the leaks from the running lights. Before I knew where it was, I thought maybe it was coming from here because this is where I was getting drips on my arm. But when I fixed the running lights, I just coated them also with that stuff, and we never had a problem. Got a little spider right here. I don't know if you can see it. But no, you know, it's missing the non-skid there. That's easy. No, I'm just glad I went in on Friday and they saw the floor. And you know, I don't know, like they could find a person that doesn't care about the floor, but then also they might not. So that's why I gave some money back. You just don't know. But yeah, other than that, they said it looks good, you know, it looks nice, and they're not really concerned. Oh, they have to fix the awning, which I have to get the new motor for them. And then the backup camera is the cord does not seat strongly into the radio. So basically, after time, it backs itself out and then it quits working. And I told them, I said, we figured that out because we got a new radio. And then they hooked it up. It worked fine for 2 or 3 months, and then it quit working again. So hopefully they can fix that, get it so it stays seated properly. But I mean, you can see, like, these seats are awesome. Nothing wrong with the front. So when I was looking up the VIN and trying to figure out the title, what happened, it looks like that in 2015, the manufacturer paid $40,000 for the Mercedes-Benz chassis, which is a lot, I think. I mean, it is the biggest one available, and it's a 3500, biggest engine, biggest everything. I guess I thought maybe it'd be like 35 grand though, you know. So as far as I could figure, based on the MSRP was 115. We didn't pay that, but based on the fact that most RVs are marked up 50%, this RV cost 40 grand to buy the chassis and 40 grand roughly for Thor to make the back end. So basically it cost Thor roughly $75,000 to $80,000 to build this. Which is kind of amazing when you think about it, because I mean, 40 grand for the back end, I mean, there is a lot here. The generator alone is 6 grand, I think it cost them to buy. Yeah, so I just wish they would have used, you know, my biggest wish is they would have used a real floor, you know, not the foam core. Other than that, you know, I've been very happy with it. I mean, and oh, besides the floor, you know, of course, just it's so hard to get service, you know. And I want to go to more remote places. That's the other thing. Well, Mercedes-Benz has made it so hard for independent dealers to work on. You have to pay a subscription now for their computer info, you know, the software package. One of the auto places was telling me when I was trying to find a Freightliner, it's like $20,000 a year. Before you just buy the computer, you're good. You know, the computer might be 20 grand, but you can do everything you need to. Well, now they're going to a subscription model to work on these, just like all the software for like Microsoft and Adobe. So they're making it so you pretty much have to take this to a authorized Freightliner Sprinter dealer or a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter dealer. I mean, which you might only have 100 to 200 places around the entire country that can work on certain parts of this, which for me is just not enough, because like when we got a flat tire in the truck in Nevada in the middle of nowhere, what if I was in this in the middle of nowhere and broke down? I'd have to be towed for 200, 300, 400 miles. And yeah, I could do that, and I have insurance, but do I want to? No, I don't want to. And I'm tired of sticking to the interstate and campgrounds that are easily accessible. I just want to get away, you know, from everything. But yeah, I would really love to see how well this looks after they detail it, you know, and get it cleaned out even more. I'm pretty sure they could sell it for $70,000 to $80,000 based on what I've seen online when I type in a 2016 Thor Citation Sprinter. But again, you know, they don't know how much some of these repairs will cost. They don't even know if they have to do the floor, honestly. I mean, maybe they won't. But again, they're taking the risk. Their repairs could be a couple grand, or they could be $7 or $8 grand total for everything they have to do. And a lot of it's just time. Like, it's, you know, detailing it, redoing some of the caulking I showed you, fixing the awning. Oh, this TV out here is broken. So that needs to be replaced, but those are cheap. This lock sticks, so whenever you open it, I have a tool in there. I just tap the mechanism so it pops back out. You know, it's little things. Like, the biggest things they have to fix, though, potentially, is the floor and the awning. If I'm going to give them the motor. If that motor does not solve the problem, and it is a wiring problem, yeah, they'll have to dig into it. I don't know how the wiring works in an awning. They made a comment about possibly they would have to replace the entire awning. I can't imagine that, because, you know, but I don't know. I don't know how it all works. But, you know, they can come out making a little bit of money on this, or they can come out making a lot of money on this. And that's the risk that any car dealer makes, you know. And I'm happy with that, because I don't want to deal with selling it myself. I don't want to deal with trying to fix the little things, you know. They can do it faster and better than me. So that's why I'm willing to give them the profit, you know. Doesn't bother me. And people are like, oh, you should sell it yourself. Well, then I got to fix some of these things. And some of these things I have to pay them to fix, you know. So it's not worth my time. It's not worth the money I might get from it. You know, they have the expertise, they have the workers, they have the time, they have the knowledge. You know, if they can make $5 grand, or they can make 15 grand, and I'd be happy for them either way. And I accept that. It doesn't bother me. But, you know, if it was in mint condition, then I would probably want to sell it myself. But it's 6 years old. You know, we have 64,000 miles. It's not in mint condition. I think it's in good condition. I gave it a rating of 8 out of 10, you know, in my opinion. Especially, you know, a new one of these they have on their lot is 150 grand, and they're not discounting it much. You might be lucky to get it for 140. So if someone could buy this, you know, for half the price, basically, it's a good deal. But I'm gonna go make this video. I just wanted to make one more video of this before we get rid of it. It'll be different. It's gonna be you know, part of the trailer. I have to figure out if I can even bring it in this driveway. See that tree there? I might need to cut it down and have the stump grind out, so I can eliminate some of that curve in the